guys and gals, Never here from Drake Wayne Game, and 70 Mounts Wood of the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Arches. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right back in, shall we? Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go. I wonder how close we are to finishing this. Okay. Cameron can feel the monolithic entity shift and turn, as if to sense an inevitable end. Brian is close to taking the Coyote's offer, but it isn't meant to be, and Cameron, of course, knows that. Scuffling from the entrance announces Devon's arrival. Guess he's finally here, huh? Glad I brought my 10 gauge. I always want to make sure you got good firepower when bears are involved, eh? Cameron watches in horror as the old bear opens up the shotgun before inserting a shell. Cameron's mind is blank as he automatically lunges at the huge bear, grabbing at the shotgun barrel as Brian snarls in rage. Everything's falling apart. You're spiraling. Devon shoves his bulk through the narrow passage, squeezing through to the hall on the other side. When he stumbles into the open space, Devon spots Cameron immediately, the coyote being swung left and right as he fights with Brian over the shotgun. Cameron is covered in blood, tears matting the fur on his cheeks. The situation is already a terrible one, but again, his fear for Cameron turns to anger at Brian as he sees the bear throwing vicious, crushing kicks at Cameron's lower body. Devon realizes this is it, and he has no time to think. Devon charges up behind the older bear and bites deeply into the side of Brian's neck. Apparently biting someone other than himself is a lot more effective, and he feels his canine sink deep into the flesh beneath the thick fur. The old man is covered in layers of protecting padding, just like himself, but the older bear clearly has a lot more of it. Still, Brian screams, high-pitched and full of fury. Then Cameron is finally shaken loose from the shotgun, and Brian grabs the barrel with both paws before ramming the butt of the shotgun back into Devon's stomach. The younger bear retches and crumples over, but he manages to grab the shotgun, holding onto the stock tightly. Brian, clearly aware of how bad the situation could become for him, lets go of the shotgun so he can throw an elbow into Devon's face, bashing the left side of his muzzle and face. This stuns him and gives the bigger bear time to turn around and throw a knee up into Dev's hunched form, an inch above the navel, almost the exact spot he'd hit earlier. Devon feels as if his guts are flattened to his spine before liquefying, the force actually lifting him off the ground for half a second. Even though he lands on his feet, he immediately sinks to his knees, his muzzle wide open as he continues to battle with his own lungs, all while still trying to hold on to the shotgun. You're a dead man walking, boy. Well, on your knees anyway. What a surprise. Brian fumbles shakily to find the stock of the shotgun, hidden somewhere under Devon's bulk while simultaneously trying to avoid the end of the barrel in case Devon is able to find the trigger. The attack had been enough to rattle Brian, even if it was short-lived. Devon curses himself, trying to move, knowing he probably can't win, but he needs to do something. Maybe hurt Brian so bad that Cameron can at least get away. Get up! But he can't breathe, so there's not much he can do to defend himself, let alone stand up. So Devon keeps his hold on the shotgun even as Brian starts trying to yank it from his weakened grasp, and he's starting to succeed. Cam, run! Devon rasps, not even sure where Cameron is right now, assuming he still might be on the ground for being kicked so many times. Brian squeals. Looking up from his doubled-up position, Devon sees Brian in front of him, bent over as well, the grizzled bear grabbing between his legs. As Brian sinks lower, Cameron appears, lowering a foot. The coyote smiles with relief and joy at seeing Devon and seeing that he's got the shotgun. Cameron seems so sure that they've won that he doesn't even see Brian's quick recovery. The old bear forcing himself up, murderous vengeance in his eyes as he runs at Cameron with another animalistic scream. Devon can only watch as the huge bear charges at Cameron. No! The much smaller coyote can only yelp in panic before Brian smashes into him and crushes him against the wall. Ooh. Devon hears a crunching sound just as he gets his first tiny sip of air, just as he hears Cameron's own air wheeze out in a yowl-like moan. And then, even more viciously than Devon had attacked Brian, the old bear begins to maul Cameron. Oh my god. Brian bashes him left and right with blows aimed at the coyote's face before Cameron collapses. There, Brian begins to rip and tear in the coyote with his claws. Devon begins to move, but it's slow, and he just wishes his lungs would start working. Cameron tries to crawl away from Brian, and Devon sees the horror mirrored in his boyfriend's eyes. Oh god. Then Brian comes down on him again, and Cameron throws his left elbow back at the bear's face, only for Brian to sink his teeth into Cameron's forearm and elbow. Cameron lets out a yelp and curls around Brian's muzzle, scratching and biting at it with claws and teeth. But then Brian twists and tears, and Cameron lets out a howling sound, his body twisting violently. He's on his back now, and he goes quiet, staring in shock at the walls he's lying perpendicular to, his eyes beginning to roll up as Brian thrashes his head and a crunch comes from Cameron's arm. The coyote can't make any sounds now, the breath seemingly knocked out of him by the pain. Devon has never heard Cameron make those feral pain sounds, not like this. The shotgun had opened up at some point during the struggle, and Devon drops the awkward weapon, too intent on saving Cameron to figure it out right now. And to see him in so much agony that he can't breathe, can't even vocalize it anymore, it gives Devon the final push he needs. He charges into Brian, and the force knocks the old bear off the coyote. Devon has never seriously mauled anyone in his entire life, but it's something that comes naturally to him and Brian. And while he had mauled people in the past, including Cameron, this is the first time he brings his claws, teeth, and muscles to full use. Straddling the older bear, Devon roars at Brian before lunging down. First, he bites Brian's neck again, but from the front this time, while his paws rip and tear into the bear's hide. Brian seems to concentrate for a second before burying his fist up into Devon's stomach with a deep, muffled thud, but the younger bear is tensed up this time, and the fist gets no further than his stomach muscles. Still, Brian's power is almost supernatural, and Devon lurches forward and grunts, folding over, an ache forming deep in the pit of his belly, but this only makes him bite harder. Devon can feel that he's truly stunned the old bear, at least for now, and as Brian takes his fist back, he resorts to panic shoves instead of actually trying to fight. When Brian finally does try to claw at Devon's face and eyes, the younger bear leans back and smashes his head into Brian's muzzle. The sound it makes indicates a broken snout, and Brian lets out another high-pitched whine before screaming and trying to lunge up to bite Devon's neck. Devon leans back, just avoiding the teeth before smashing his head a second time into Brian's face. Just as Brian lays dazed, Devon lays into his snout 3 times, full force, trying to pound every bit of agony into Brian that the old bear had given all of them. That would be impossible, though. Still, Devon feels a savage satisfaction. He sees at least 2 of the older bear's yellow teeth roll out of his muzzle. Brian howls and rolls violently, finally dislodging the slightly smaller bear. Devon heaves for breath, watching as Brian comes up several feet away, crouching and also heaving for breath. You! Brian can barely form words, but not just because he's out of breath. His bitter hatred is evident, so mad that only frothy spit flies from his lips as he sputters. But then Brian's eyes flick to the right, and Devon remembers all at once that he'd left the gun there, having been focused on helping Cameron. The old bear moves lightning fast once again, and he shoots off to the right, and Devon realizes Cameron is there too. Cameron, look out! Cameron, lying in agony after Brian's vicious attack, knows something is deeply wrong with his body. The crushing against the wall of the chamber had done it. The true pain, though, emanates from his left arm, and Cameron knows that it's a mangled, broken, and useless. But he can still use his legs, and Cameron forces himself to get up and start moving from the shotgun, hearing the snarls and growls of the bear behind him. He does his best to stay quiet, but stifled grunts and small squeaks force their way out of his throat. As soon as he touches the shotgun, though, he hears Devon shout, "Cameron, look!" And again, the nightmare that is Brian is tearing at his body, pinning him to the wall, and Cameron screams in terror as the huge bear starts trying to bite his neck. The panicked coyote is only just able to get his unbroken arm up. It's only maybe 3 seconds before Devon is there, but it feels like an eternity, as Cameron considering how badly it might feel to die from having his throat ripped out. Cameron's right arm is torn up as well, but since Brian isn't shaking his head this time, his bones at least remain intact. Then Devon wrenches the bigger bear off of him. Cameron tries to get up to crawl, but it's useless, his body too beaten and broken to do anything other than dragging himself away. Then he hears Brian's high-pitched squealing again, and this time it's genuinely terrified. Cameron looks over and sees the old bear is now on his back, with his arm in a sort of hold by Devon. Devon is lying on his back, Brian's arm pulled towards his chest, Devon's hips close to the older bear's shoulder as his legs lock together at the ankles. Devon grunts and heaves with all his might, his huge, powerful body arching toward the ceiling. Devon is intent on really hurting Brian this time, wanting to make sure he pays the old man back for Cameron's tooth and arm. So, with the tooth part avenged, Devon focuses on destroying the other bear's arm. Bear bones are especially hard to break. Devon has ever had a broken bone in his life, but the younger bear knows a thing or two about applying force. His dad watched MMA all the time, and while he knows little about fighting, he knows why arm bars can be so devastating. But even as he leans back, bending the bear's arm over his inner thigh, only a few cracks are heard, but it's nothing serious. Devon needs the arm to have less resistance, and more distance from the fulcrum. Unlocking his legs, he takes just a second to slam his foot right into the older bear's jaw. For just a second, Brian goes limp, and Devon relocks his ankles before lifting the limp arm away from his chest and curling up. Then he heaves back on the arm again, arching hard while he twists his body. Torque! Now you're thinking like an engineer. Oh! As the catchphrase of one of Devon's old professors comes to his mind, a crack splits the air, and Brian's screams somehow reach a new panicked pitch. Devon looks over to see Cameron has dragged himself a few feet away, leaving a dark, horrible blood trail smeared behind him. There's a lot of blood, and Devon panics, thinking the coyote's bleeding out from his neck. Devon stumbles over to him, hovering his paws over the coyote's head. Baby, your neck! Let me see it! He didn't get me! Let's go! Cameron is in no shape to run, so he groans as Devon lifts him into his arms, the bear starting to stumble toward the exit. Devon looks down at the coyote in his arms, just now seeing how truly terrible Cameron's injuries are, and then he glances back, shocked to see Brian standing. How the old bear was able to get up without making noise is beyond Devon. Ah! The butt of the shotgun, powered by the old bear's huge body, slams into his side, spreading a sickening ache and a wave through his body. Cameron hears the dull thud, followed by the vibration through Devon's thick body. He feels the bear cringe as he sinks to his knees, huddled over Cameron. Fuck. The huge bear lifts up the shotgun he'd managed to keep a hold of. He struggles to hold it up with only his left paw, and his injured right arm dangles before he practically swings it up to prop his right elbow against the wall. A few pops coming from his shoulder as he does. He screams again when that happens, but with his fully functional wrist, he can now take steady aim, and with how narrow the hollow is, there's nowhere to go. Don't you fucking move, you got that? This is over. I'm killing that yote in front of you, and then I'm ripping your fucking arm off, boy. Brian's expression is an odd mixture of excitement and disgust. Pity you ain't half as cute as the pup. Devon can only wheeze in response, and Cameron holds on to him tightly as he's cradled in his arms. God, you fucking ruined it! He was perfectly fine till you showed up. Now he's fucking fucked up to the point he's not even fuckable. Cameron's ability to see and feel things is fading, just as the effects of the shrooms are fading. Still, there's just a bit left, and Cameron tries his best to use it. Devon's body begins trembling, and Cameron holds on to him more tightly. Devon's voice, still breathless, whispers into Cameron's ear. Honey, whatever happens, just play dead, okay? No matter what. But Cameron suddenly turns. Devon watches as... No! What the fuck? Shit. Okay. Well. Yep, they told me this was gonna get bad. Apparently, it does get bad. Look, Cameron's just gonna die. I've just accepted that. Like, he's been fucking thrown around, crushed, beaten, shot in the fucking head now. Come on. Come on. Like, already survived through pure fucking luck. This... God, no. Like, he's lost too much blood, doesn't have any more energy, and now he's gonna lose a lot more blood because he got shot in the fucking head. Fuck. Alright, y'all. I think I gotta pause it right there. Oof. I gotta take a break. Alright, thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell. I love you all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Gotta take a breather. Bye-bye.